I'm gonna start with, what do you admire most about Reggie or Reginald? Is it like formal with y'all? Do you
It's definitely both. It's either or for sure. No, but I think the thing I admire the most about him is his just willingness to sort of take on any task, no matter how ridiculous it may seem, and no matter how much he seems to waver, he somehow still finds a way to make things work out. So hopefully it works out this season.
yeah, you tell me. It's some
Yeah.
pretty hard odds he's fighting
Yeah.
against.
Yes, absolutely.
um, so Uriel asked Reginald to teach him how to live in this world. What is the
Mhm.
first thing you'd show to somebody, like if aliens or actual angels showed up and were like, "What
Yeah.
is this world?" What is the first thing you'd want to showcase to them?
Oh my gosh. Maybe that really old famous YouTube video of like the two kids, like Charlie bit me, like that video.
I love that you're not like the
Bro,
pyramids or
yeah,
like,
no, man. I
whatever
think
the
they'd be like
Vegas sphere is.
over.
You're like
I don't know.
YouTube.
Something to me tells me that they probably wouldn't be interested in like a pyramid. It seems to me that they'd be interested in like what we think to be funny.
Honestly, probably the best way to stave off the apocalypse is to
Yeah,
just show folks
right,
YouTube.
right. Like, don't let them know how bad we are.
Yeah, well, YouTube eventually will show them how bad we are.
Right, right.
Okay. What flavor of slushy would you describe yourself as?
I feel very tropical as a person, if that makes sense. I'm very
It does.
much mangoey vibes.
Okay.
Strawberry, yeah, that kind of whole like the I don't know if you've ever had like fruity pebbles from Jamba Juice, but like that flavor.
What?
It's like a secret off menu drink.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It's actually really delicious.
Okay, I will take
Yeah,
your word for that. But I get the fruity tropical is like it's a
yeah,
fun refreshing.
yeah,
Emotionally, like this season has been, I know the show is kind of comedy-y, but it's been tough.
yeah,
So emotionally, what has
yeah.
been the most challenging part of this season?
You know, I think honestly, I think the dramatic is honestly something that we've all kind of wanted in the show,
Hmm.
and I think that's probably like the easier part. I actually think doing the comedy is
Yep, yeah.
like trying to mix the comedy into like the dramatic has been pretty hard because the first season is all comedy and that's difficult in its own, but to really mix it well this season has been very, very different. But it's been really fun.
This is a broader question, but growing
Sure.
up, who was your favorite fictional character?
I mean, anyone maybe like this is gonna be really funny, but Brock from Pokemon, he was so thirsty. Oh
Uh,
my goodness. He was like he was like
that's
the
why.
funny. I honestly, because it was just so funny. Like he'd always be dying for some girl, which is hilarious.
And
Um,
which Nurse
yeah.
Joy is your favorite Nurse Joy? I know I
Probably
know
the
that
first one
reference.
that
Don't
they
worry.
met, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, Officer
But
Jenny or Nurse Joy? Oh, that's the
yeah,
question.
yeah, that's so funny.
Okay, so I think one of the like things I love about this season is also the grappling with the theme of, can people and or vampires change? So
Yeah.
one, do you think people can change? And two, is there something that you're already good at that you would change and make yourself even better at?
Today, especially, I feel like we are sort of lost on this idea of grace, and
Mm,
I think more importantly, just like the chance to learn from your mistakes. So I think that's kind of a big deal. And I truly believe, life's not all black and white. It's all kind of a gray area. And if people are willing to learn and change, I feel like we should give them at least a space to. Um, and so that's kind of that. um, but if there was something that I was good at, that's interesting. I'm kind of good at playing piano, I guess, but
oh, okay,
I'd like to be like really, really like play without looking at the keyboard. That'd be
got it.
crazy.
Are you going like classical? Are you going like jazz? Are you going show
I like a
tunes? I
little,
don't
little, a
know.
little jazzy for sure. I'm definitely not good at like classical music. I'm not like a well versed and well toned piano player. I kind of
Okay,
just play whatever I think sounds cool.
okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
still impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Um, Again, broader question, but what is the
Yeah.
first time, if ever, you felt represented on screen?
Ooh, that's a little tough to say.
The answer can be no.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really saw myself fully in
Hmm.
anyone in media besides maybe like Jackie Chan or like Jet Li or like because Bruce Lee obviously was gone already by the time I was like in the movies. So like mainly only like action
Mm,
Asian stars, like
yeah.
Asian action stars. So So maybe like 2002, I guess. But like even then,
just
like
the
I
year
didn't really,
2002.
yeah, I just didn't really know what it meant at the time. I just thought Jackie Chan was super cool.
I mean, he is super
But
cool, so that's
yeah,
that stands the test of time. That has not
yeah.
changed.
So, but that's really it, though. I feel like, and I'm very proud to sort of be a part of this growing narrative of other Asian Americans who
Yeah,
are being to represent other people.
the diaspora, we out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
um, so you are still very young, obviously, but like, how do you define personal success now versus earlier in your life and career?
Oh man, that is such a
I'm here for the therapy
question.
questions.
No, that's a great question. I feel like for me, I was really lucky to be around very successful people when I was like just starting out in the industry. So I used to think that it was all these things that they would get in their contracts, like
Ooh.
I don't know, like bigger trailers, more assistants, all these things, and like notoriety in terms of, well, not notoriety, but like just like worldwide fame. I thought was like a really great thing. Um, but now it's just like how you, I mean, everyone defines success differently, but for me, I feel like just longevity in my career,
Mm.
feeling creatively fulfilled, and getting the chance to work with people who are also very passionate about film and art and performance and things like that.
What is something creatively that you have yet to explore that you would like to? You can also continue to say piano.
Gosh, that's tough to say too. I would like to try and make my own show or my own movie,
Ooh.
maybe. Or like to like try my hand at like actual art, but I'm really not like, I don't know. I can't really see like a blank canvas and all of a sudden make a picture. Like I think I need to like unlock that part of my brain still. But yeah.
I always love asking people, what is the first film that you saw in theaters that you were the impetus for going to go see? Like, so not necessarily your family dragged you along, but you were like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
obviously it's
wanted to go
hard
see it.
to like see the trailer or whatever outside of a
Yeah.
theater, but
Ooh, probably Sorry to Bother You.
oh,
Yeah, I think that's Sorry to
whoa.
Bother. Yeah. I think it was probably like, because I feel like at the time I felt a little douchey and like I wanted to find like movies that I felt like were not like, like the sort of cookie cutter sort of mold that we're all sort of used to watching.
Yeah.
And I felt at that time I was like, like when you're like in college, you're kind of like rebellious and you want to fight against the system and you want to find pieces of media and art that kind of like question the validity of government. So like that's sort of why I went, and it ended up being a really great movie. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you want to talk about people who question the validity of God.
yeah,
Boots Riley is
right,
out
right,
there.
really
Like,
great.
I don't know if
So
you've seen his new show, but it is
yeah,
also great.
no, I definitely need to watch it though for
Oh,
sure.
it's so good. And
Yeah,
also, like Roots too, because
yeah,
obviously, Oakland is an important backstory to one of the
yes,
characters. And so Boots is,
absolutely.
anyway, I'm from Oakland, which is why I'm like, let me tell you
Okay,
about Boots. I know
no,
Boots Riley is,
no,
he
no,
is
for
one of
sure. No, I
ours.
get it though. You totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's super interesting. So I kind of want to dive into the like questioning the government, and not
Yeah.
the government, like
No,
not to
right.
imply that you're like a
No,
conspiracy,
no,
but
no.
one of the things that is kind of interesting about the character of Reginald is like he does do so much research into the
Mhm.
backstories of prior governments and like
Yeah.
systems of this. Is that something like you're actually interested in, or is that just kind of like
Um,
the writer's room was like, you know what, he's gonna be able to speed read this
yeah.
type of stuff?
That's definitely. I feel like that is the writer's way of making me talk a lot.
Okay.
But I would say for me, I do like learning about like past like systems of government and
Yeah.
and like past sort of like levels of infrastructure that we may not really understand now.
Yeah.
But I'm just paid to say other people's words, honestly. I feel like that's all I do.
Well, I mean, again, because of your role in the show, you are also paying yourself to say other
Yeah,
people's words, and you are
which
paying
is
them to write the words for
ironic.
you.
It's ironic because I definitely should be paying myself more. That was
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, you should
Yeah,
renegotiate. You should
yeah,
talk to
but
the
it's just like,
boss.
yeah, and it's just like I'm taking money out of my own pocket, I guess. It's a weird thing.
What would your first decree if you were voted to the like Vampire High Council be? Are you going full
Gosh,
like oligarchy? Are
um,
you going monarchy? What's your system of
I
government?
it's tough. I mean, I'd like a whole kingdom to myself, but that seems like too much power for one person.
Yeah.
I'd probably go democracy, maybe. I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm afraid of like shallow, vain asshole vampires' opinions, so like
Okay.
that scares me. But I would say the first rule that I would make is probably like stop wearing black all the time. I feel like it's played out, and
You
I
and I are
think
both wearing black right now. You realize that,
yeah,
right?
and I'm mad at myself because I'm falling for the thing now, and I just want to change it up now.
the show has rubbed off on you. You
Yeah, it
gotta,
really has.
Although I will say I did really, again, mildest of spoilers, but I like the idea of like a rainbow funeral, like a tie-dye
Yeah, it's
funeral in
actually
episode
very
4.
sweet. I feel like
Yeah.
uplifting like the dead in a way is a lighter way of taking it.
Yeah. It's very like Irish wake, like,
Yeah,
it's a
for sure.
celebration. Um,
Absolutely.
when it comes to bringing in kind of like other supernatural lore and
Yeah,
characters and expanding, like what are those discussions like where you're like, you know what, it's not just Reginald the Vampire, it's now like we're
yeah,
gonna have an incubus and this and that. Like who's going through the
yeah.
mythology book?
Oh my gosh. I think it adds more to our storytelling because I think we
Yeah.
all love a good mythical creature. And I think this is just the beginning of the kind of characters that we want to introduce, hopefully in the third season and beyond. And
Yeah.
I think, like this Angel War is sort of kind of like a thing for books as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that came out. I was like, oh, we have escalated
Yeah,
like
very,
quickly.
very dramatically. Yeah.
Has working on the show made you more or less inclined to believe in the supernatural?
Definitely a lot more. I feel like a lot of Latin for some reason that we use in the show is for some reason tied to spells. So that's definitely it's definitely made me think twice about a lot of things. But I
Okay.
will say that I take everything with a grain of salt, and I believe in ghosts. I just don't want to ever see one in person because
Okay.
I will pass out and ruin my pants.
I
So
was going to ask, like, if you were to hear a spooky sound, are you the type to be like, I'm gonna go explore that? Or you're like,
no,
hell no.
I feel like exploring the crazy, scary noise is never a good idea. I don't know why we do that in scary movies, but here we are.
I don't. Because
Yeah.
you and most of the cast are people of color and we know
Right.
better.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to explore anything. Oh my goodness.
yeah. No, I think one of the wonderful things is, the visual and sort of emotional and sexual diversity of the cast and the characters.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, One of the plot lines is like the vampire PR, right? And the extermination of people who don't look like this
Yeah.
stereotype of, not extermination, just not the inclusion
Yeah.
of. And as someone who comes from like a background that has not been as typical in Hollywood up until now,
Yeah.
like what was that like for you entering into the field, right? Because you entered young, like we
Yeah.
said, there's not a lot of role models out there. Like what have you
Yeah.
kind of learned for better and for worse about being an other in Hollywood? Sorry, here's the heavy
Yeah.
cue.
No. I think it's interesting because you sort of experience like the truth, right?
Yeah.
And what's more important is that I mean, really, I was very stubborn when I was 19, so I didn't really get it. I just kept going for things, even though like people were just telling me to my face that I'm not going to be anything. And so like me having the chance to really work and perform the way that I want to has really been a blessing. Because I think what people don't really understand about the industry is that you do go through a lot of rejection, but not just rejection of how you perform. It's mainly because of how you look. So
Mm.
I think that has definitely been something that we've tried to fight against in the industry recently.
Hmm.
Inclusion of people of color, the queer community, obviously as well. And it just feels like we may be getting a little better, but obviously we can do a lot better. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much
Congrats on
for
the
having me.
show.